Greetings, Bassketeers. Josh Fossgreen back at you with Chordal Etude number 3. If you didn't watch the last two videos, that's fine. You can start here. We've just been exploring some different chord voicings in musical context and getting a tasty left-hand workout and exploring some new sounds. So we're going to do that again today. Please download the free PDF with sheet music and tablature and left-hand fingerings, which you will really want today. Let me play this thing for you. It's kind of written in a pseudo-baroque sort of style. So we're just going to be playing with a metronome. I'll play it for you without one just because the metronomes aren't particularly good as musical accompaniment, just so you can hear what this sounds like, and then I'll show you how to play it. Here we go. Please make sure your bow ties are properly adjusted before I start. Etc. Repeat from there. Okay? That's how all great pieces of music are ended, by the person playing it saying etc. during their last note. Okay? So this is it, Chordal Etude number 3. I wrote this specifically, unlike Chordal Etude number 1, which I actually wrote for myself and then revealed to the public in this exciting format. I actually wrote this for you guys because I wanted you to experience playing a mix of like thirds and sixths and some fifths in a sort of mix between melodic and chordal function, because this is a really fun way to improvise where you're sort of playing a single line but then throwing in some bass notes and occasionally having independent moving lines. It's really hard to get it going all the time, and of course this is not improvised. I wrote this and we're learning it together, but it's a really fun style to try to emulate on the bass in a composed or improvised format. So, blah-de-blah-de-blah, here we go. So this is kind of a mix of practicing chord voicings and just playing a single note line, I guess is the summary of my point, if I have one. So we're starting with just a little, basically in the key of E minor here, okay? We've got like an E minor chord, an A minor chord, a D and a G, there's like an E minor over B and a B major in there somewhere. But we're dealing with a number of little inversions here because when you're doing mostly just two-note harmony, you can take a lot of liberties with implying different chords and stuff, even though, you know. So we go, that second chord I sit on, I'm thinking of it as A minor over E, but there's no A in there. You could just easily think of it as a C over E. So there's a lot of fun you can have with that. Anyway, here we go. Chord number 1, ring finger, index finger. You could put your pinky there too, it really doesn't matter. Then we go 1, 3, 4 with index coming in there. Okay, so you probably want to follow along with the PDF at this point. I'm not going to like reference beat and bar numbers all the way through. So just starting at the beginning. So ring and index, and then 1, 3, 4, 1. And then here you definitely want to go index, pinky, because then you're going to grab that D with the F sharp, index, and ring, so you need to use your pinky here so you can set up your ring finger. And then 2, 3, back to 1, 3. Okay, so when you go between those two chords, I'm calling them chords, they're only 2 notes, you get the idea. They're really just intervals. This way you can keep your third finger on the low note. I feel like that's easier than doing that move. And then getting to the tritone with the F sharp and the C, just add the pinky finger here. And then to resolve the tritone there, I like to go 3, 4 to 3, 2. Okay, so again, the ring finger can stay, and we just replace the pinky with the middle finger, then just slide down, ring index, ring index. Okay, so then moving on from bar 3 back to the E minor chord, then we go 1, 2, 2, 3 for the A minor over C, slide that up and down. And then we go on 1, 3 on that E minor over B, because then we're going to need our pinky to go 4, 1, 1, and keep the third finger down here is one option, and then go 2, 1 for the last chord of that line before you get back to the E minor in bar 5. The other option would be to go do a quick change here from 3 to 4. If you can do those kind of fingering moves without getting a gap in the note, then by all means feel free. It's a little more comfortable, but it's also a fast move that you might not be used to doing those. It's a good move to know how to do, but you don't need to do it to do this thing. Okay, so that's the first half. Oops, that's the second half. So then the second half is all the same stuff until you get to bar 7. So from bar 7, E minor, same as usual, 3-1, 4-1, 1-3. Okay, you could switch your pinky over the B there if you want, like we said before. And then 2-1-1, open, 2-2, open. Okay, so this is a little bit of a weird move because you got to keep that E ringing and then do that. So there's a point at which your second finger has to occupy that same fret that your index finger's occupying. You can do it. It's just a little weird. But if you can think of another way to make that happen, then by all means do it. This is what seemed to me like the thing that made sense. Okay, so from bar 7 again, or the way I actually wrote it, just moving the 3 over. Okay, that's the basic idea. There's a lot to this. For me, it's not that challenging because this is stuff that I tend to play anyway, but my hope is that it's new for you, so it might feel uncomfortable to configure your fingers this way. Configure your fingers this way. There's a tongue twister for the day. But that's actually a good thing. If a chord feels weird on your hand, that's great. It's awesome practice material because it's going to teach your hand to do something new. And playing chords is a lot different than playing single note bass stuff because you're thinking about multiple fingers at a time playing multiple notes. It just feels really different. So if you're not used to that, don't be afraid. Just practice it. Let's play this thing together. We'll just go at approximate performance tempo. I don't think we need to do the slow down thing because this isn't that fast. It's just getting used to the moves is the trick. So here we go with some beautiful metronomic accompaniment. 1, 2, 3, 4. The end of any great performance is turning off the metronome. Okay, awesome. Thank you for playing this with me. I hope you've had fun. You can really write stuff like this yourself. Just pick a diatonic chord progression, basically diatonic, and just doodle around. Play with some thirds, some sixths. I mean, if we just look at the intervals we're playing and all these chord voices, we got a third, scale walk up to a sixth, scale walk up to a sixth, parallel sixths, tritone to a third, third, sixths, in parallel, sixth to fifth, third. It's just a bunch of thirds and fifths and sixths based off of E minor scale. The only note in there that's not in the E minor scale is the D sharp, which is super, super common to have the major or dominant 5 chord in the minor key. That's the etude. I really recommend that you try to come up with your own stuff in this style because trying to think of like multiple notes at the same time with your left hand is just, it feels like such great practice. I really love doing it. So I hope you've had fun with these chordal etudes. Next time I'll be back at you with some other thing that I haven't thought of yet. And if you want to support me in continuing to put out these free bass lessons tirelessly, then you can support me on Patreon, or you can buy my books through my website, or you can do none of those things and just keep watching. They're all great things to do, and I really appreciate it, and I'll see you next time.